Nice picture. Just thinking about sun and sunflowers and my son. And now we begin the forgiveness of specialness, finally. Forgiveness is the end of specialness. Only illusions can be forgiven, and then illusions disappear. Forgiveness is release from all illusions, and that is why it is impossible, but partly to forgive. No one who clings to one illusion can see himself as sinless, for he holds one error to himself as lovely still. And so he calls the error that he holds about himself unforgivable, and makes the unforgivable error that he holds about himself into the belief that it is a sin. How can he then give his forgiveness wholly when he would not receive forgiveness for himself? For it is sure he would receive forgiveness completely, wholly, the instant that he gave forgiveness wholly. If you give, you must receive. And thus his secret guilt about his unforgivable error, he called a sin, would disappear, forgiven by himself.
Whew. Forgiveness must be total, or it's not forgiveness. Conditional forgiveness is bartering. Conditional forgiveness demands something from the other to earn our forgiveness. An example of conditional forgiveness would be, I'll forgive you if, even if it's conditioned on the demand that they don't do it again. This is a condition, and thus it's not forgiveness. ACIM states that if we believe any one circumstance can't be forgiven, we're withholding forgiveness from the whole. This is because we still believe there are different degrees of illusions. We claim that one form of illusion is more difficult to forgive than another form of an illusion. The content, not the form, is always the same. Both sins are equally false. Being a oneness of everything cannot be hurt or hurt another, and thus there is nothing that cannot be forgiven, since there's nothing outside the one self. Since the truth is that our minds are joined as one, withholding forgiveness from one part is withholding forgiveness from the whole.
The hologram works both ways, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever form of specialness you cherish, you have made into a sin. Inviolate sin stands, strongly defended with all your puny might against the will of God, and thus sin stands against yourself, your enemy, not God's. So, does sin's specialness seem to split you off from God and make you separate from him as sin's defender? You would protect what God created not, which is sin, and yet this idol of specialness that seems to give you power has taken power away. For you have given your brother's birthright to this idol of specialness, leaving him alone and unforgiven, and yourself in sin beside him, both miserable before the idol of specialness that could save you, not that can save you not from your belief in sin. So, as usual, they say it in case you have any way around what they're trying to say. They close all 15 gates that you want to use one of them to say, well, yeah, but it doesn't apply here. There is nothing special. It's all the most wonderful.
It's all better than special.
Yeah.
Sin was defined as an illusion that we wish to maintain because we value it over the truth. Our specialness is the illusion that we value the will, excuse me, Our specialness is the illusion that we value over the will of God. Our specialness is the lack of belief that our specialness is the belief that we could lack or need something. Sin is belief that what is perfect, whole, and complete could lack something. God created us as extensions of Himself. We're the same oneness of everything. Yet with sin, we refuse to give up some part of the illusion of separateness. This part of the illusion forms the basis for our specialness. Specialness is the sin we refuse to give up and thus will not forgive. Inviolate means kept sacred and unbroken.
Hmm. It is not you, your higher self, who are so vulnerable and open to attack that just a word, a little whisper that you do not like, a circumstance that suits you not, or an event that you did not anticipate upsets your world and hurls your world into chaos. Truth is not frail. Illusions leave truth perfectly unmoved and undisturbed. But specialness is not the truth in you, your higher self. Specialness can be thrown off balance by anything. What rests on nothing never can be stable. However large and overblown, oh, however large and overblown the illusion of specialness seems to be, it still must rock and turn and whirl about with every breeze.
Specialness, like any illusion, is unstable since it's not based on the unchangeable truth.
Mm.
Instability of specialness demonstrates its unreality, and thus specialness is not part of our real higher selves, the Christ part of us.
Without the foundation of truth, nothing is secure. Would God have left his son in such a state of illusionary instability where safety has no meaning? Wow, that's quite a statement. It's funny, some of the most powerful statements in the Course in Miracles are given to us as a question. And I've always felt that by asking a question rather than just making a statement of a truth, it engages us a little bit more. So mercifully,
I agree.
this
Would
is a question, and
a
it's
power with all the power in the universe leave its child, its baby, teetering on the sands of quicksand?
yeah. Would God have left his son in such a state of illusionary instability where safety has no meaning? No. His son is safe, resting on God, not the illusion of specialness. It is your specialness that is attacked by everything that walks and breathes, or creeps and crawls, and even lives at all. Nothing is safe from the attack of specialness, and specialness is safe from nothing. Specialness will forevermore be unforgiving, for that is what the illusionary sin of specialness is, a secret vow that what God wants for you will never be, and that you will oppose God's will forever. Nor is it possible the two, God's will and your egoic desire for specialness, can ever be the same, while specialness stands like a flaming sword of death between them. Specialness makes them, God's will and the will of the split-minded, who believe they are special, enemies.
God's will is that his creation be happy. Our happiness rests on the peace of God, which is based only on truth. We cannot be happy while we believe that we're under attack. Specialness breeds comparison, differences, and the need to attack. This cannot lead to peace. God's will could never support reality that his creation is limited or special, since this would mean that God himself would be limited. The belief in specialness can only be a mistake for illusions that are powerless against the truth. An effect can't change its cause.
You know, if it hadn't been for the description of how awful specialness is, the idea how simple it is to get rid of through forgiveness would not really affect us very much. But the book has done a terrific job of helping us understand that something that on the surface seems like, oh, okay, he's kind of special, it's all right. Uh, it's not all right, and how important this is to ourselves and to our entire world.
Hear, hear.
It's wonderful.
All right, we'll pick it up again tomorrow.
Okay.